Woo! Nest Fitness. Welcome back, everybody. Got a few updates and then a little bit of the More You Know series coming on. Besides the fact that I'm getting a couple inches of snow tonight, which is going to suck, but Facebook page and Instagram is up. I wish I had a little nice banner to put right here so you can just click on it. I'm not that sophisticated yet, my bad, but the Facebook page and the Instagram is up. That's Nest Fitness. Make sure you go over there, find it, Google that shit, do whatever you gotta do, find it, like it. If you got any pics, I'll be glad to post your pics up, or you can post them up yourself. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a fucking IFBB pro to be on this page. We're one big brotherhood, one big family. Wherever you're at, wherever you at in your journey is good enough for us. We just want to get on there, let everybody share their experiences, share the knowledge, share the routines, share your pics, man. One big happy family, so come on over, find it, Nest Fitness, Facebook, and on Instagram. Now, for the More You Know series, today we're going to be talking about crashed gear. So what is crashed gear? What does it look like? And how can you fix that shit? Well, I'm glad you asked, motherfucker. Because here it is. This is what happens. Basically, just to keep it simplified, there's just basically three main ingredients to gear. You got your raw powder, you got your carrier oil, and you got some solvents to go in there to help break that shit up. Basically, you put all three of them in there, and you heat it up to a certain extent. When you heat it up, think about it like when you make some tea. I know some of you northerners ain't gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about, but when I make sweet tea here in the South, we use hot water. So when you pour your sugar in there, it'll kind of melt that sugar and blend it in there, kind of suspend it. And that's what's happening with gear. You're putting them ingredients in there, you heat it to a certain temperature, and it's called suspension. It suspends into that suspension. It's basically now it's all diluted and all that shit is in the damn suspension. So that's how you make the gear. Now, for some reason, there's two things that's going to cause crash gear commonly. One of them is if it gets very cold. If you're living where I live right now, crash gear is a common thing when we got these damn sub-zero fucking temperatures. So if your gear's not putting a spot where it's nice and warm, then yeah, maybe you might get some crash gear. Another thing that might crash is if you got a high concentration gear. Now, if you're trying to run something like a Test 500 or EQ 500 or something like that, and especially if it's a UGL, depending on who brewed it, then yes, you may get that crash. And what crash means is, it just means it's coming unsuspended. You had put the ingredients together, you heated them up, they were suspended. Now something has changed, whether the gear is not stable or the temperature is too cold, so now it's becoming unsuspended. And what that looks like, it'll be milky, it'll be powdery looking at the bottom. If you flip your vial upside down, it'll be powdery coated on the bottom. Sometimes it's crystallized looking. That just means you got crashed gear. Does that mean it's no more good? No, the gear is still good, but you can't eject it like that. What you got to do is this. This is what I do. And there's several different ways you can do it. Other people like to do other methods, but I'm gonna show you my way because I know my way works because I do this every fucking time. I turn around, I got some crash gear. I'm gonna use that shit. So this is how I do it. I grab me a frying pan. All right, just a standard frying pan. Put it on the stove, and I fill up like just let's say this is your vial right here. Fill it up with water till it gets up to about right there. You don't want to cover the vial with water. You don't want to get too close to that rubber stopper up there. Just get it to where, you know, that 10 mil mark should be somewhere up in here. Get your water to where it's at least level with that, okay? Get your water up to that depth. Turn on your burner and get it to where it's almost boiling. Don't boil it. Get it to where it's almost boiling. And what does that mean? Like if you look inside the pan and you see a bunch of tiny bubbles at the bottom, you know it's like covered with hundreds of little tiny bubbles. It hasn't burst up into big bubbles like it would be if it was boiling. It'd just be the little tiny bubbles all over the bottom. That's the temperature you want. Stick your vial in there and wait 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, pick it up. You may want to use a little pot holder because sometimes it does get kind of hot. Pick your little vial up, shake it. Then look, if all the crystallization is gone, all the white powder is gone, there's nothing in there, it's crystal clear again, it's 100% suspended again, then it's good, wipe it off, you're ready to use it next time. If it's not, put it back in there for another 5 or 10 minutes. Excuse me. You have to keep just repeating that process until it gets right back suspended again. And that's all it is to it. Once it gets back suspended, it's perfectly fine. It's not going to hurt you in any kind of way. It's 100% good to go. So, if you got crash gear, now you know how to uncrash that shit, resuspend it. The more you motherfucking know. See you next time. Nest Fitness.